Trilly on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots round my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put yourself in check. They don't hear me, they don't hear me though. Cycles going round and round and round like a merry-go. Stand for truth, or fall for any old scenario. That's why I keep my circle smaller than a Cheerio. Cause it's the company you keep. Stay woke, please don't get caught sleep. End up sowing what you reap. Know your worth, and don't sell cheap. The ghost is inside of me, can't take it out of me. No matter where I've been, it's about where I'm meant to be. I be shining perfect time and check your watch. And I know who I am no longer lost. I got tired of walking around with a mask on, smiling but my heart singing sad songs. Yeah, I was living for myself, I was dead wrong till I got the call, no cell phone. I got tired of walking around with a mask on, smiling but my heart singing sad songs. Yeah.
Good evening, guys. Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. A new segment here called Let Me Finish. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, you know who I am, but to our left, right, however you're watching, got the main man, Austin Sweat. Made a post earlier today. I said, make sure you guys hop on here, and it's going to be a sweaty one. Nobody got the pun, but I did, and that's all that matters. How you doing, big dog? You ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready, man. Locked and loaded, ready to go.
Locked and loaded, ready to fire from the hip, boys. So this show has been inspired from Austin and I because we argue a lot about just anything, honestly. Who pisses farther than the other one, who wipes better than the other one, anything we can really kind of shit on each other on. And I'm better at all these things, by the way, we've established. We like to argue, and I felt like it would be a good thing to kind of bring on and do-si-do a little bit. We're going to argue, but today kind of dip the toe in the water, right? See how we're going to do. We've got three major topics. Is Mahomes in the conversation to be the GOAT yet? Can we start talking about that? I'm sure a lot of you guys feel that way. Some of you may not feel that way. Guess what? You got a defender for both of those, okay? Pac-12 versus the SEC. This guy's coming all the way from California, okay? Cool as a cucumber. Thinks Pac-12 is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We got to check him. I think for that particular argument, he's going to be all on his own, okay, as he should be, all right, because it's a horrible reason to believe. And then lastly, I think it's a good argument right now, especially what's happened recently, is LeBron versus Jordan. Who's the actual GOAT? Got two sides on that as well. You guys, obviously, in the comments, never hold any punches, and we don't expect anything less tonight. Don't hold any punches on him. I know he's a ginger, okay, and you know how those guys get. They're fiery. They get a little sensitive. Hey, let me finish. They get a little sensitive at times. So we'll take it easy. Yeah. I'm gonna give you the mic for a little bit. Introduce yourself. You're like D1 and all that stuff. Go ahead and let them know your credentials, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started with the show.
Yeah. So my name's Austin Sweat. You call me Sweat, whatever you want to call me, doesn't matter. But played ball, went D1, highly recruited. Kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to sports versus just somebody that just hangs out, plays Madden, and learns what cover 2 means by pressing buttons. You know what I mean? So looking forward to getting to it, bringing a lot of knowledge to it, and see what happens. And we'll get to the Pac-12. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna even get started with that. I understand what type of channel this is. You understand, but the truth hurts. Okay, the truth hurts. All right, so we'll get to that.
Highly recruited.
Highly recruited. High top, highly recruited. You understand? We're locked and loaded, man.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find you. Hey, guys, if you want to look him up. What year were you?
11.
Okay, hold on. Let me see this highly recruited here. It has you as a wide receiver. Is that you?
So go to because I'm kind of old now, but
no shot. Wait, is it? Hold on. The show's already doing some great things here, boys. Wait, is that you, bro? Shut the fuck. Sweaty.
Fresh face. Relax.
It says wide receiver, 5'10", 185. I didn't even plan for this. Is that you, Sweaty?
So when I went to yeah, when I played,
This is the
yeah.
greatest. This is the greatest start to a TV show of all time. You kidding me? Highly recruited, total offers.
Well, I went small, dude. You know, I was small. But what I'm trying to get at
Go ahead,
is
go ahead.
I'm bringing perspective. All right, relax. I'm not. I'll be in the league if I was that good. Relax, relax. But
Hey.
it is different a little bit. All right, it's a little bit different.
No,
So
look. So to be fair, but you played quarterback. That's why I think it's funny too. Last time you didn't have a photo.
I played receiver, right? So I played receiver, and then my junior year, I made the transition because we didn't really have a quarterback. So they just put kind of like
Yeah, that's high
the
school.
athlete.
That's high school ball. Look to
Yeah,
be fair, Sweat knows what he's talking about. All right, guy played football. Went to Georgia.
little short, you know, but it's all good.
We were
All
going at
combo.
it. We were going at it today on who's stronger what night. Guy knows what he's talking about. Look, he knows we were bringing the punches. This was not planned, but when you said highly recruited, I had to make sure because you took a little bit of jab there, calling me X's and O's on Madden. I was like, all right,
Well, no, I mean,
guys, like shit's getting hot.
at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We got our own size. We're going to slug it out. We'll see what happens. But I'm ready to go. So you know,
All right, let's get it then.
bring the heat.
Let's go. I love it. All right, number one, Mahomes. Is Mahomes in the GOAT conversation? Obviously, you know, Mahomes is coming off his second Super Bowl win against the Eagles this past Sunday. And I knew it was going to happen. This is why I was really hoping for Joey B to kind of to hush the noise because here's the thing. We either love the GOAT and we cherish it like Jordan, and we don't make room for anybody else. But for some reason, the love for Brady is not the same. And so we're always trying to find the next GOAT in football. And I feel like we try to move the needle a little bit faster than it should be. And so I was pissed on Sunday because I knew the conversation was going to turn into Mahomes is the GOAT. Here he is. He's taken over. Look what he's done in 5 years, right? Like that was going to be the narrative. Thankfully, it hasn't gotten that crazy. But I'm going to let you go first. Kind of lay the land here. I know you're on the side of that. You think he should belongs in the conversation. Is that right?
So yeah, let me be clear. I don't think he's not Tom Brady, right? He's not the GOAT. Got a long way to go. I mean,
Sure.
it'd be impossible to go to this point, right? But in comparison to Tom Brady, because Tom Brady, you know, he's been successful pretty much from the get-go, right? Ever since he became a starter, he's been pretty successful. You can make the same argument for Mahomes, but in better fashion. So the record's better. You know, it's all time, all pro. I think Brady was all pro one time within the first 6 years. And I know some people argue that the team, right? Mahomes' team is better than what Brady's team was, or vice versa. I don't think so. I think Mahomes is 100% in the conversation. If the guy retired after next year, he'd be in the GOAT conversation. 5 years in a row, AFC, you know, went to the AFC Championship. That's unheard of. First 5 years. Joey B made it one, you know, last year, and everybody's talking about Joey B trying to crown him already. So I think we're already at the stage where we see him on the pinnacle. He's the guy, and everybody's already throwing shots at him. You know what I mean? So I just think going back to pretty much every statistic, first 6 years, it's not even close compared to Brady.
So would you consider him a Hall of Famer right now if his season was to finish?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he retired tomorrow, he would be probably not a first ballot, but yeah, absolutely. He's already won two.
Would you consider Matt Stafford a Hall of Famer?
Oof. That's kind of on the. I'm not sure.
So here's this is okay.
Probably not.
You took the bait, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that. If you look at total passing yards, total touchdowns, total receptions, all time, Matt Stafford is 11 for all of them. Total touchdowns, total passing yards, and passing yards, touchdowns, and I think maybe receptions or something like that. Those are three major categories. Top 11. Okay, that's massive. Mind you, Tom's number one in all of those. Okay, number one. Matt won a Super Bowl. He has one Super Bowl. That's 50% of what Mahomes has done thus far. Okay, mind you, Stat's career was in a dumpster in Detroit. He didn't walk into this cush situation with Andy Reid at the helm and Travis Kelce at tight end. He did have Calvin Johnson. I will give you that. But it's not even close to the same team. He came into a situation that was hell. The 1 year, he gets 1 year. 1 year he goes to LA with a young coach, not Andy Reid style of coach, a young coach with a great team, and gets it done. And we're not considering him in the conversation. But Mahomes, and again, Mahomes is a phenomenal quarterback. Great quarterback. Look, it's hard to hate the guy. If his wife and brother didn't exist, I probably would like him more, to be honest with you. Okay? He walks into a cush situation. A cush. We've talked about this, bro. Kansas City wasn't some slouch of a football team when he showed up. Kansas City was going to AFC championships. Kansas City was dominating. They had with Alex Smith. Andy Reid says the only thing I wish I had. They went 10-3, 11-3. They were going to AFC championships with Alex Smith.
97, and they didn't go near the AFC championship.
They went to AFC championship with Alex Smith. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And so Mahomes walks into this situation and rolls the AFC, an AFC that honestly, who in the AFC has anything to really like? What's the AFC been? He's in the conference with Denver, Colorado, Denver, the Raiders. So look, I'm not saying he's not great, but to have this conversation this soon, he said, look, it's incredible. 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. What's that?
I said it is incredible.
It is, but look, here's the thing that I always hear too with Tom, right? You kind of started saying it too, and a lot of people say it as well with Tom. Well, Tom got lucky. Go look at his past Super Bowls. He's got the tuck fumble, an Adam Vinatieri kick, a Malcolm Butler interception. Okay, what about this past game? What about a Kadarius Toney 80-yard longest punt return in history in the NFL? What about a defensive touchdown that tied the football game? None of that matters.
Who won MVP?
Or it's a popularity contest.
No, it's not. I knew
even Travis Kelce.
So if it's a popularity contest, right? In the first 6 years, Brady has 3 Super Bowls and Mahomes has 2. Out of those 3 Super Bowls, Brady was MVP twice. Out of the first 6 years, Brady was only All-Pro one time. One time. He's the GOAT.
Mahomes has been All-Pro every single time.
Every single time, 5 years and 5 AFC championships. And to be fair,
he hasn't won all 5, but he's been to 5. I hear you.
Right,
he's been to 3 Super Bowls. He's won 3.
Right, exactly. But to defend
Tom was 3 for 3 on his first 3, right?
Yeah, he didn't lose until he got to Eli, the undefeated team. Again, I'm not trying to say he's better than Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's GOAT. But I am trying to say that on a resume to resume, if you're trying to compare probably the best resume in sports, he's there. He's actually passed it. He's on track to pass it.
You think? So what does he have? So he has to get. In my opinion, he has to get 8 rings. You can't say if he gets 5, if he gets 6, he has to get 8 rings. No.
So it depends. It depends.
He has to surpass because here's the thing. Tom leads. He leads.
He could have 5 rings and surpass Tom Brady, I believe.
No way. No, he has. He has
192 touchdowns right now in the first 6 seasons. Tom Brady had 123.
Okay.
Tom Brady has 66 interceptions. Mahomes has 49.
I saw that same stat. I saw that same stat.
He has like 7,000 more yards passing already. Going mano a mano. Like,
do you know the math? Do you know the math that Mahomes needs to surpass Tom Brady in passing yards? Do you know the math?
I can subtract his age, and Tom Brady like 45, 46.
Mahomes would have to average for the next 15 years 4,500 yards a season to surpass Tom Brady.
5,200 last season.
Okay, for 15 years, Mahomes has to average 4,500 yards a season. If you truly think that in 5 years Mahomes is going to be doing what he's doing now, when apparently he's fragile and his leg's broken already, and I quote because he's not injured, he's being a little bitch. There's no way. He's not even the top 20 right now in passing.
Yeah, he's 6 years in, really 5 years in, because that first year he didn't really play.
First year he didn't play, sure.
But again, I'm not saying he's better than Tom Brady, right? Because that is a hard resume to compare to anybody. I mean, we were doing Joe Montana and Tom Brady, and Joe's only got 4. Tom Brady got to 5 and 6 and then 7. We were like, damn. So it's hard to argue that, but at the same time, a lot has went in Tom Brady's way. The tuck rule, Malcolm Butler interception. I mean, there's so many things that we just look at Tom Brady and go, oh, he won it. And not to mention the Buccaneers, when they won it, that team was stacked. Defense was stacked. Leonard Fournette was running like a grown man, like he was at LSU. Like, that team was stacked. And then the Stafford thing, like, same thing. Dude won 1 Super Bowl after 10, 11, 12 years in the league. Like, yeah, he has a good arm, but he's not nowhere near as good as Patrick.
Yeah, but dude, the situation, the guy was in Detroit. Detroit is it's a you're familiar with Detroit? It's a dumpster.
Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah, so my thing is, like, look, like, but the one season you put Matt Stafford in a situation to excel, he wins himself a ring. But he's in top 15 for every statistical category that matters to a quarterback, and you're not going to consider him into the you didn't even consider it. You're like, no way. And this guy's played 5 seasons, done some great things in 5. If his career was to end today, how many quarterbacks have 2 Super Bowls that we don't even think about anymore? That we don't even talk about? Because we're looking at it in a nutshell, and I hear you. But look, and we're going to get into this later on. Longevity matters, in my opinion, to be in a GOAT status.
Yeah.
And again, this is not a knock on Mahomes. But what Tom Brady also did, and yes, he had some great teams, but there was one consistent through all those teams. This guy did it for over 3 decades, or 2.5 decades, right? The team did not stay the same. He had over like 40 or 50 wide receivers that caught his balls. I was trying to find a stat, and they probably didn't put it out there because it would ruin Mahomes. I guarantee you 80% of his passes would go to Travis Kelce. I think, look, it's fun to talk about, but it's way too soon to have this GOAT conversation. I don't know why we're obsessed with always trying to replace the actual GOAT. Look, the LeBron and Jordan one, in my opinion, has way more credibility than this conversation here. You've got 2 full careers to talk about right now, right? Okay. This one here.
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
So, how many Super Bowls has Peyton Manning won? 2. A lot of people would consider Peyton Manning probably second of all time. Some people consider him the GOAT. No, I'm not saying he is. Relax.
Elway had 2. Great call there, Steven. Roethlisberger had 2. Nobody talks about Big Ben like that. Big Ben will be a Hall of Famer, but he's not a GOAT. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
But how many years did he play? Did he have? Yeah. How many years did he play?
Eli had 2. Probably one of the 2 greatest Super Bowls. Continue. Sorry.
All right. So listen, we're talking about 5 years.
Okay, but look, hold on. Hey, real quick. Let's talk about this because the Eli. This is really actually important. I'm glad we got the chat here to always help us out here. So Eli had 2. His 2 in that time span was what, within a 5-year period, right? Was it not?
I think it was like 08 and then 11 or something like that, 12. They played the Patriots twice. They beat Tom Brady twice. I'm aware,
but that was in a 5-year period, okay? That he did that. That Eli did that when Eli was in his prime. Before that,
Eli, it was the team. Relax. It wasn't Eli.
Now it's not Eli. But Kansas City's not a good team.
Kansas City's a good team, but Patrick Mahomes is winning MVP, 5,200 yards. When did Eli ever throw for 5,200 yards? Ever?
Look.
Ever.
That's where the conversation. He never threw for. I don't know. Probably not for 5,200 yards. He probably did. The offense didn't work that way. They had Tiki Barber back there.
Tyreek Hill, which I know people always just fast.
He also didn't have Travis Kelce. He had what's his face? The guy shot Plaxico Burress shot himself in the leg. Who the hell talks about Plaxico Burress? He has a first ballot Hall of Famer tight end.
They lost Tyreek Hill the next year.
Tyreek Hill is not that.
What are you talking about?
Tyreek Hill is not that special of a wide receiver. He's fast, yes. He is incredibly fast. Jalen Waddle, in my opinion, is a better wide receiver than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is not what he's all made out to be. Jamar Chase is better. A.J. Brown's better. Devontae Smith's better. Justin Jefferson's better. Who else we got? Devontae Adams is better. He's not even a top 5 wide receiver.
But he's a top. So he's not top 10 in the league. Tyreek Hill.
I could probably 5'10" if I wanted to.
Yeah, hold on. So what I'm saying is, you lose a top 10, which really he may be
top 15,
top 5.
top 50. He's not top 5.
At least top 10. But you lose a top 10 receiver, your go-to guy. Yeah, I get it. Travis Kelce is a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But they lose him the very next year. He wins the Super Bowl. Like, and he's doing it on a bad ankle. And I know everybody's like, oh.
Eli had 5,000 yards in 2011, the year they won the Super Bowl. Thank you, Steve. I love the stat guys. These guys are incredible. Chat's incredible.
That's fine. That's fine. But there's no way in hell Eli Manning's better than Patrick Mahomes. If you think that, come on now. You just don't know football. I'm talking about first 5 years, guys. I'm not talking about a whole career, right? He belongs in the GOAT conversation when it comes to it. Bottom line.
I think it's too soon. It's too soon because, look, hold on real quick. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Steve with the stat crew. Steve might have just found himself a new job here. Eli had 7 years with 4,000 plus yards. Okay, plus the 1 year with 5,000 yards, plus 2 rings. Okay, so 7+ years, but we don't even consider Eli because Eli wasn't as flashy. Eli didn't run around the football field like Patrick Mahomes does. Eli's not going to rush for 15 yards. Eli's not going to fake an ankle. Eli's not going to fake an ankle injury to make it look good. Okay, and he also played for 16 years, all for the Giants.
So what makes you think he's faking an injury? I mean, that sounds like you're just straight up hating. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not hating. I don't think he's faking, but I think it was a little. I think he sold it. I think it was a little bit of. It was a little Hollywood.
If anybody else was in that position, running on a bad ankle, taking his team to victory, the Super Bowl victory, they would be crowning him. If it was Joe Burrow, you'd be wearing your Joe Burrow shirt.
You wouldn't even know Joey Burrow was hurt. He would have a cigar in his mouth on third and 10. You wouldn't even know he wouldn't even know he was injured.
The problem is that social media has given us too much insight on the Mahomes family. Well, this is why it sounds
No. So don't blame Jackson Mahomes on social media. That's Jackson Mahomes.
No, I'm not. Oh, I'm not blaming. I get that. But what I'm saying is, it makes it kind of unlikable to where.
Bro, he went. Okay, so the face, right? The guy gets tackled and goes, right, and it's like one of these things, right? Walks off the field. The next day, Sweaty, relax. He's running around Disneyland on Space Mountain eating cotton candy with the balloons.
Job's finished. He won.
Hey, job's finished. Shut up, bro. No.
So, I mean, I think Tom Brady early on in his career especially was kind of looked at as almost like a game manager. Like that. And not to mention Bill Belichick, right? I know Andy Reid's a great coach, Hall of Fame coach, but Bill Belichick.
Bill's great. But Bill was not a champion before Tom got there. Andy Reid was in a Super Bowl with his own team before him. He has been to the AFC Championship. Andy Reid has had proven success. Bill Belichick just got booed out of Cleveland. Cleveland, out of all places. Okay? Literally got kicked out of there. Comes in, Tom Brady saves the day. The Tom leaves, we haven't heard from the Patriots since. Tom goes on, wins by himself. Look, there's a point where these guys are saying too, because we forget, like with Peyton, we forget about what's his face here, Mahomes. He says Muddy's saying Big Ben is still tied with Mahomes for greatness. Don't care what anybody says. 3 Super Bowl appearances in 6 years and 2 rings. That's what Big Ben did. We're talking about the same thing for Mahomes right now. The same exact.
MVP not mean anything. MVP, 2 MVPs, breaking NFL records. Not mean anything. Like.
Look,
and again, I'm not saying he's better than Tom Brady. Relax. I'm saying he belongs in the conversation.
So Big Ben does too. Big Ben does too. Then
played his whole career. This guy has 5 years, and he's already done what Big Ben's done. I don't care who says what. It doesn't matter. Okay, played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a great defense. Okay, Big Ben never took a game over. All right, ever. I'm sorry. He never did. Not like Mahomes. All right, Mahomes is 100% in every stat on his way to be in the GOAT, him and Brady. I mean, Peyton Manning, right? 1, 2 Super Bowls. He had, 5 MVPs? That's what makes him in the conversation. It's not all about Super Bowls. I get it. That does matter. But Mahomes does not have to win 8 Super Bowls to pass Tom Brady. He could pass him in every other category and win 5 rings. That's a good enough resume to become the GOAT, in my opinion.
So, look, those stats are very important. I'm not gonna knock those stats. And Muddy made a great point here too. Style of play has changed, and this is where how many MVPs does Tom have? And there's a stat that you can't measure what Tom does to a football team, right? And to me, I think sometimes being a GOAT is not necessarily having the best stats. Russell Westbrook, we've talked about this before. The guy was putting up insane numbers, wins MVP. Is he really a valuable player? Honestly, the year that he won, can we really say that he was the most valuable player? Like, people were just dying to have him? No, because look, when he went somewhere else, that team struggled and so did he. So what is a valuable player? I think that unfortunately what's that?
If Russell Westbrook was winning MVPs, right, like he did, and a championship, that's a different conversation, right? I get what you're saying. I mean, you're getting triple doubles, and now you're making the playoffs or whatever. Yeah, I get it. But he's winning. He's not just getting MVPs. He's winning Super Bowls. I mean, that is
so to say that he carried this team in the Super Bowl, and Coach Kevin says that he threw for 180 yards. He didn't carry anybody.
He's 21 for 27.
He didn't carry anybody though.
Bro, he was throwing dimes on certain drives, and then that at the end when he took off and ran on that bad ankle. I mean, like, dude's a stud. He won MVP. I get it. I mean, I get what you're saying. He didn't have great stats, but keep in mind, Tom Brady's stats in the Super Bowl weren't that great either. His best statistical Super Bowl.
I know the one he lost. I know.
Yeah, the one he lost. I mean, he did throw for like
500 yards.
Yeah.
Look, I think you made a good argument. We'll leave it to the people to decide on. Let's see what the chat's saying, because I mean they're getting rowdy. We got F is for Fanatics and Easy Bro. Take a game over. Only three guys haven't ever taken single games over. Vic, Favre, and Brady. Between the Hedges, to Scotty Scheffler is in the GOAT conversation with Tiger and Jack. I'm assuming sarcasm, because that's kind of what he's saying. You're claiming, because I don't know if you know Scotty Scheffler, but he's having some early success here, but he ain't no Tigger. Uncle Lou, drywall guy, glad to see that Uncle Lou's family's in here, says, I agree more with High Top, but Austin is arguing better. High Top just yells. Okay. Interesting take. Look, that's my style, right? I just got to yell. Okay. Austin's way more methodical in his speeches. Between the Hedges, I can't wait till we get the Pac-12 argument. So what are you thinking fast? Okay. I love it. The chat never fails. You know, you can always go to the chat for some assistance. A little bit of a morale booster, you know, to keep the flow going.
Yeah. And let me make it clear just one more time for the people in the comments. I'm not saying he is Tom Brady. He's going to beat Tom Brady. But for the first 5 seasons, you can make the argument. I mean, it's really not that hard. It's not, you know, he could fall off and not win another one. He may not ever make to the Super Bowl again. But at the end of the day, what he's done in the first 5 seasons is pretty remarkable. Whether you like him, hate the Chiefs, lost money against the Chiefs with the Bengals, or anything of that nature. I mean, it's one of those things where you can't deny it. I mean, dude is on his way. He's on his way. And I like Joey B more, but
so look, you know, he's showing signs of what it takes to be a GOAT. But I'm going to leave you with this, because you're a father of 2. I'm a new father. Your kids are what, 5 and 6? A little older?
7 and 8, but yeah.
7 and 8. Mine's 3 months old. Okay. I could be a good dad for the next 5 years. Pretty easy. Okay. But if I fall off after that, am I the GOAT? Because I had a good 5 years, I was solid in my prime. I don't know. Just think about it. Just sleep on it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess. I mean, fatherhood's a little different, but I don't know. I don't see it changing when it comes to Mahomes. I mean, the quarterbacks in the league right now are really good. Let's not deny that. The first 5 quarterbacks are fantastic. We're lucky, right? This next generation, we got Josh Allen. I mean, dude's a stud. Joey Burrow. You know he's going to be back.
T-Law. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean T-Law. Yeah, so. And for him to kind of outshine those guys in a pass-happy league, I get it. I mean, it's just you got to give him his flowers. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. You got to give him his flowers.
His flower. I've been hearing that a lot lately. Where is this coming from? Giving him flowers. Give him his flowers.
I don't know. I saw something.
I've been hearing that all over the place. All right, what do you want to do next? Do you want to lose in the Pac-12, or do you want to lose in the LeBron Jordan conversation?
So. let's get to the Pac-12. I feel like that's what we're waiting on here. We kind of ever since we said that, everybody's kind of an eyebrow raiser. I feel like because on paper it's like, what is his argument, right? What does he have to say about the SEC, right? How many years has the SEC won the championship in a row?
All of them. We've won the last 16 out of 18, I think.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't. I think last one was maybe Ohio State, something like
Yes.
that. I don't think it's 16, something like that. I mean, it's about what 7, 8 years, something like that, right?
No, I said 16 of the last 18. I don't know how many in a row. It's
Yeah, I got you. So here's my argument with the Pac-12, right? I'm not saying they're better right this second or they have been better, but overall as a conference in 2023, and you can make the argument in 2022 as well, they're overall a better conference. Okay, Georgia is a juggernaut. I get that. 65-7. We all watched the first quarter of it, right? Or first half. It's domination, right? Georgia is dominant. Alabama's going to be back. We know that. Tennessee, we'll see. But the overall, the Pac-12, top to bottom, is better than the SEC. Okay, and will be for 2023. Okay, I know we got a lot of Florida fans, right? I'm not knocking the Gators because I mean it's a great program. Loved watching the Tebow era, but it's been a while. It's been a while. Okay, and what made me so happy is, I know you don't think bowl games matter, right? Because they just put on their pads and they go out there and play for no reason, right? That's my sarcasm. No, they're actually playing. They're playing hard. They played against Oregon State, right? Good team, average. I mean, they're not the best in the Pac-12. And what happened? What happened?
that's okay. All right.
No, I'm just asking. That's just one example from 22. I'm just asking.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Y'all beat Utah, right? First game of the year, beat Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And Utah wasn't the best team either.
Whoa. Utah was not the best team? The Pac-12 champion was not the best team? Whoa. The Utah.
Nope.
So who's the best team then? The team they beat? The team that lost to a wave?
I believe Washington was probably the best team at the end of the year. I really do.
Sweat.
Utah was up there. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying, Washington, where do they finish in the top at the end of the year rankings? Where they finish?
I'm pulling all this nonsense up right now because I'm losing my effing mind right now. We're losing.
Georgia's unstoppable.
Washington finished 8th. They finished highest. Yes, they finished the highest.
In top 10?
Yeah, they finished in the top 10, 11-2.
Okay. How many teams in the Pac-12 in the top 25?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna work. So the argument isn't really 2022. That's kind of, it's leaning that way. But 2023 will 100% be a better conference. The quarterback play is so much better. We got a Heisman Trophy winner coming back, right? Bo Nix. I get it. Against Georgia, they didn't do too well. But again, Georgia is different. If you take the first top 3 teams off the SEC, the rest of them aren't too great.
Okay, so let's how do we want to break this down? Because if you're saying overall, right? Let's start from the bottom to the top. Will that work? Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so what's that?
Want to talk about Vanderbilt?
Can I go? I'm starting from the bottom. All right. So we'll say the 6 bottom from each side. The 3 worst, or we'll say the 3 worst. Texas A&M 5-7, Vanderbilt 5-7, and then Auburn 5-7. The 3 worst on the other side: Colorado 1-11, Stanford 3-9, Arizona State 3-9. Then California at 4-8, then Arizona at 5-7. So yeah, if I'm taking Vandy versus Colorado, I'm taking Vandy. If I'm taking Auburn versus Stanford, I'm taking Auburn. If I'm taking Texas A&M, this is 2022. I'm going through this right now. If I'm taking Utah, Florida, I think we already have the answer to that. Florida. If I'm taking Georgia versus USC or Washington, who do you want? Because look, you want to go Imano. What dog in the Pac-12 do you want to hand over to Georgia? Go ahead and toss an L up.
Yeah, you're making my argument valid. Okay, Georgia, I get it. Georgia, you take Georgia away.
You can
Georgia away.
You can pick your matchups, Austin. I'll ride with you. Pick your matchups. We'll win 90% of the matchups.
So pretty much other than LSU, Bama, Tennessee, and Georgia,
that's 4.
Everybody else is fair game. Which really the argument, Tennessee, right? We'll see if they're back.
Ole Miss.
They had a good year.
Mississippi State went 9-4.
Yeah.
UCLA went 9-4.
Okay. That's
what
one
we talking,
bro. So the Colorado argument, right? I know we talked about, we all know DEION's coming, right?
Sure.
I don't know if they're going to be great, but they're not going to be 1-9 or 1-11.
Sure, I agree.
So that's going to happen, right? And the quarterback play is different. You can make the argument that a lot of maybe not the interior. The SEC has a lot of.
So you know the top the
Pac-12 is pretty damn good.
Have you seen the NFL draft? This upcoming NFL draft, the top 3 picks, the three of the quarterbacks going to the top 10, where they're coming from.
Yeah, who can you name them for me?
Who they are?
Yeah,
Bryce Young. Yeah.
Okay.
Will Levis from Kentucky.
Okay.
And Anthony Richardson from Florida.
It's CJ Stroud's in there somewhere.
No, but he's not SEC, bro. He's Big Ten. I'm talking about SEC. But see, CJ Stroud is also in there. Yes.
But here's what I'm saying.
All 4 of those guys are top 10.
Right, I get that. Here's the thing. Lincoln Riley, right? He's at SC now. He brought Caleb Williams with him. They already got another 5-star coming. Obviously, I'm an SC fan, so But the thing about it is, if you look at all the good players in high school, and that's a whole different argument. What state has the best football? California's pretty stacked, mainly at the quarterback position, right? What I'm trying to say is, moving forward, it's not going to be the 4 and 5-star out of California is going to have to go to Alabama or Ohio State. That's where all these guys are from. They're all from LA and California, right? Moving forward, they're going to sign with the Pac-12. They're not going to be going to the SEC and battling every team, Oklahoma and Texas now. I mean, they're not doing it. They're going to stay home in the Pac-12. And that's what I'm saying. The quarterback play is going to be way better. Okay. If you look at the high schools, I know you don't talk about a whole lot about high school, but all these out West teams, St. Bishop, Mater Dei, they're the top 2-3 teams in the entire country. A lot of those players are going to the Pac-12. It's gonna change. That's all I'm saying. 2023, it's gonna start making that transition. Last year, it was already fairly good. I mean, compare the ACC, the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12, it's a good conference, right? We talked about this before.
It's better than the Pac-12.
But they don't have. No, they're not. They don't have one lead team. They were in the
championship game.
Huh? Yeah. How'd that go?
They made it.
They made it. Yeah. Okay.
So but real quick, you keep saying they're going to the Pac-12. USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten, right? In like 2 years.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. This year coming up, I think this year is going to be a good year for the Pac-12.
So 2024, the 2024 class. Right?
Yeah, for this.
All right. So let's do this real quick. Dylan Raiola, number 1 quarterback, Arizona. Julian Sayin, California. DJ Lagway, GOAT, Texas. Jaden Davis, North Carolina. CJ Carr, Michigan. Elijah Brown, California. Then we got Georgia, Maryland, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Florida, Utah, Bama, Texas, Arizona, Georgia, Massachusetts, Texas, Georgia, Texas, Florida. So there's Texas, Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, Florida. Two out of the top 30, 2 are from Cali. Quarterbacks. So you're going to get 2 of them.
You're talking about just for that. Listen, okay, they're already at the schools, bro. Okay, I watched one of the top teams in Florida. I think the name Chaminade or something like that. They're stacked. They got 2 5-star receivers, right? 2 5-star receivers. They're undefeated. One state. Well, they went to Vegas to play Bishop Gorman. I know it's Vegas, it's not California, but a lot of those Bishop Gorman players are going to the Pac-12. One of their best receivers is like going to Arizona, I think they said. So, I mean, what I'm saying is the transition is going to start happening. Before, all those guys were going to the SEC, right? Going to
What
the SEC,
what's making the like what's happening that you think all of a sudden these kids are like, you know what? Let's go to the Pac-12 tomorrow.
I think I think the coaching, the programs, they're on the rise. I mean, DEION alone, right, made a huge jump.
Just Coach Prime.
Oregon State, whatever. I call him Dion. Whatever. I'm just playing. But no, I mean, Oregon State, they're on the rise. Washington's on the rise. Oregon obviously has really been the best Pac-12 team the last 10 years or so, right? Again, the argument is tough. Don't get me wrong. SEC is still
Look, I respect you for floundering around
correct.
here in the deep end. It takes a lot of guts.
All I'm saying is, don't be surprised. I mean, 6 teams in the top 25. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. But people look at the SEC and they say, "Oh, Georgia, the top, they won the national championship." Yeah, I get that. But what about the other teams? You know what I mean? Like, what? I mean, Florida. We got to make at least 500. What are we, 6 and 7? I mean, come on. I get it though. Y'all do have a tough schedule. I will give y'all that. That's probably the hardest schedule.
This
in
was
college
probably
ball.
the best argument because I didn't have to say much. You just kind of like talked yourself out of it. This was that was probably one of the best submissions I've had in a long time. Like I just said a few kind of data points.
Listen, it's more. I know. I get it. I'm just not oblivious to the facts. The SEC, okay, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's dominating in every fashion. But moving forward, I think it's going to make a little bit of a transition.
Here's a great question from Muddy. He goes, "Here's a question though: who non-conference wise has the Pac-12 beaten? Oregon got thumped by Georgia, and Utah did lose to Florida. Now, I know you're going to say, well, Oregon State beat Florida, a thin Florida. Oregon State went into that game. Oregon State showed up to that game. Yeah, I know. Oregon State showed up to that game like that was their national championship. Florida showed up saying like this is day one practice. And again, I'm not like trying to knock on it. It's just that's kind of where we you got a 9-3 football team playing a 6-6 team. First of all, you guys should have been playing FSU, or they should have been playing FSU, and then they would have got clapped. And we should have got Oklahoma. That's neither here nor there. Okay?
You talking about FSU team that barely beat 6-6 Oklahoma?
Yeah, they should have played Oregon State. They would have clapped Oregon State, 100%. Shout out, Steve.
Yeah, just because it was a close game against y'all, don't mean it would have been a close game against Oregon State. 31-3 and 45-38 is a huge difference there.
RJ says this guy is the 2 a.m. drunk guy thinking he is the hottest girl on the bar.
Because I get it's a tough argument. I get it's a tough argument.
Look, guys, I think we got to give him credit for trying. And look, you're coming into a damn hornet's nest. Nobody in the chat's going to agree with you. Not a single one.
And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? The most people in the chat aren't Georgia fans. They're Florida fans. So I'm cool with that.
There's Georgia's in here.
Well, again, no disrespect to Georgia. You know what I mean? Go Dogs, if anything. All right? But no, I'm just fucking. But no, I mean, it's a tough argument, bro. I mean, it really is. I just think that the SEC and certain UFA is Pac-12 champs. Says who? Ben Smith with the Gator logo. Come on, get out of here.
Well, because look, it's simple math, right? We beat Utah, and then Utah won the Pac-12 championship over US. Let me finish. Over USC, meaning Florida. It's scientific fact that Florida is now the Pac-12 championship. I don't make these rules up. It's just how that works.
So,
It's in the book. It's in the book.
I get it, and I'll be honest with you. I don't ever not root for Florida. I like the Swamp. It's a loud place.
Don't backpedal now. Don't backpedal now.
Hold on. No, I'm not. Trust me, I'm coming. It's a great place. The Swamp is what on the NCAA back in 2011. It was like the number one crowd, atmosphere or whatever. Right? It's great stadium. It's so great that your quarterback had problems. Couldn't read the play. I've never seen a team have its best game, the first game of the season, and then regress as they kept going. I was balled in. I thought Anthony Richardson was going to Heisman. I was like, dude, that pump fake, spin around, he's a real deal.
You and me both.
But then Kentucky came to town. Then USF. Then
we won USF. Okay, calm down.
I never ever would have thought you guys would have gotten beat by Oregon State 31-3 after that Utah game. I was like, oh man, these dudes are.
It's 30-3.
You wearing number 15 in the orange and blue? You better ball out. You know what I mean? And he did for the first game. So
He's gonna be a top 10 draft pick. 1, 2. That Oregon State game, and you're really riding high on an orange and blue game for us.
that's the most recent game. Am I wrong? We're talking about Utah, which was almost a year. I mean, it was forever ago at this point.
Yeah, but that game was both teams at their mightiest. Like you're trying to compare a 20. But my point is, it was even. Like Florida didn't go to that Oregon State game fully ready to, like, half the team left. What are we talking about? That game was a joke. You can't, like, I get it. It's what you got to run with it. But the Pac-12 has this year to figure it out, and they're going to lose their 2 biggest stars and then dwindle to the back, and the SEC is going to continue to do what the SEC does. The Pac-12 is...
Can I ask you something?
Absolutely. All ears.
Who won the Heisman Trophy last year? I can't remember.
The guy that watched the championship from his couch.
Oh, that guy. Okay. Just wondering. So, and that's considered the best player, right, in college football.
Sure.
I'm just asking, or is it the Davey O'Brien? Like, which one is?
What's your point? What are we doing here? What are you just asking questions just for us to answer the right? Like, what do you want? I passed. What do you want?
Yeah. Well, this isn't a knock on Florida. This isn't a beat up on. This isn't Pac-12 versus Florida. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, to sit here and talk about the Pac-12 like it's just it's like they're nobodies. I mean, come on.
They are.
Right? No, they're not.
Look, I'm a fan. I was cheering for USC last year. Huh?
In the top 25? 6 teams in the top 25, bro.
Who's going to be up there? The ACC is a joke. The Big Ten's a joke. And the Big 12 took up there's 25 spots. I'd hope you guys get a few guys up there for sure. You don't play anybody. The bottom half of your schedule is a joke.
So SEC is the best conference, right? Who's second?
It's between, honestly, I mean, people will probably say the Big Ten because Ohio State and Michigan carry a lot of, yes.
Yeah, 3 good teams.
I agree with you. I'm telling you, people will probably say the Big Ten. I would make the argument that the Big 12 is the best. Right now, last year, is making a run. They were phenomenal last year. Now, years prior, no shot.
Big 12?
Yeah, the Big 12 was solid last year, dude. Dogs.
I feel like the Big 12 is just a bunch of, they're all around the same. Like no one's a top dog. You know what I mean?
So it's like the Pac-12. The exact same then.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Bro, Kansas State, Baylor, Texas, TCU, and Kansas State were all ranked at one point. And I think Texas Tech was ranked for a little bit. That's 8 teams out of the 12. Were ranked at one point last year for the Big 12.
I'm talking about the finishing. You can say 1 point. Everybody's ranked at one point. I think USC was like number 4 at one point. They're not number 14 in the country.
Let me see.
So, I mean, you got to look at the finishing at the end. After all the bowl game, everything.
After the Pac-12 gets through, not playing anybody. Tulane was ranked 9th, by the way, in front of USC and Utah.
And Tulane had a squad.
All right, so the SEC had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 from the SEC. The Big Ten had 1, 2, 3. Looks like just 3. Okay. The Big 12 had 1, 2, 3 with Texas. And then the Pac-12 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and UCLA at 6. I mean, you've got like Fresno State and Troy kind of taking up useless spots in here, in Tulane.
Interesting.
To be honest with you, but look, that's honestly probably your healthiest part of the argument is that like the Pac-12 finished pretty healthily. But again, I go back to the fact that you've got Arizona finishing 5-7, California finishing 4-8, Arizona State finishing 3-9, Stanford finishing 3-9, and Colorado finished 1. They're handing out W's like it's cupcakes. Not to mention US. So not to mention US. Now I think USC they still played 9 conference games. Correct.
Yeah, but they didn't play. I mean, their schedule wasn't. I think Notre Dame was probably their toughest
Jesus.
non-conference.
So they played San
Which,
Jose State. They played Nevada and Stanford their first 3 games. Just absolute nail biters. And then they played Arizona State and Colorado, then Arizona. Those were their first 6 games. I mean, just edge on your seat football. And then they had the gauntlet. They had Notre Dame, Utah, which they lost, California, who was a 4-win team, Washington, which you guys won, then Oregon and UCLA, and then you lost the Pac-12 championship. So the game was back end heavy. But for the fact that you played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games before the USC schedule really turned on. Like, dude, the first half of the year was a bye week.
yeah, again, I mean, the 2022 argument isn't really there. I get that. That's what I said from the get-go. It's 2023 moving forward. This year coming, right? But
2027, we're gonna see you guys
no,
there.
relax. Yeah, all right. 6 and 7. How you keep moving? All right. But the thing about it is, moving forward, it's going to start making that transition. I get it. SEC is king. SEC, top SEC team from each year wins an egg. I mean, that's what it is. And you can make the argument that the top 4 teams were all SEC teams this year, right? I mean, maybe not LSU, I don't know, but at least top 3, right? Uh, but moving forward, I'm telling you, it's going to make that transition. It is a little bit different. Um, Florida has a tough schedule. I get it. Go cry me a river. I don't care. All right.
It's a
SC
brutal
has
schedule.
it really is, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I just feel like it's gonna start making that transition because I asked you who's the second best conference. Really unsure, right? Kind of unsure. Maybe the Big 12. It's definitely the Pac-12. But we're so stuck on the you know the reputation they have from all these past years of being trash, other than Oregon. I'm telling you, things are changing. Lincoln Riley's out there, Heisman Trophy back, SC's back, Oregon's going to get back going. They had a great signing day. You know what I mean? Things are moving. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Who do you guys think in
And
the
I,
comments the second best conference? Where's the heads at for you guys?
no, I don't think Miami's back because Miami was dog shit last year, and they weren't ranked in the top 25 like 6 Pac-12 teams. They didn't have a Heisman Trophy winner. They didn't have anybody. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, they were dog shit. So
Stetson should have won the Heisman. Let's slay face. It's a great question there between the hedges. Let's I think it's 2-0 right now, but we'll leave it at that, and we'll go to we'll go to the next one. I feel like you're gonna be on the wrong side of history on this one too, but I don't. Again, I appreciate. Look, these were conversations are fun because they have to have someone's got to be on the opposing end. Who's the GOAT? I think. Look, this is a fun argument because both careers, in my opinion. I mean, LeBron's basically done. He could pad a few more stats. Not done, but like he's got a full season. He's got a full resume to look at, and he has more time to do a few more things. And apparently, the Lakers are back now too because you guys traded for D'Angelo Russell, who you traded away 2 years ago, and now that he's back, all of a sudden LA wins one game. It's like, yeah, we're going to the championship. That's crazy nonsense to me too. But who's the GOAT?
So I mean, just the fact that what you just said is kind of crazy. You said LeBron is just about done. What are you talking about?
He's got like
What do you
2 or
mean?
3 years left.
Have you been watching? Have you? I mean, I know he broke the record and all that, but have you been? Dude's averaging like 30 a game. What are you talking about?
You think he's got more left?
A lot more left.
How much time you think?
I would say at least 4. I mean, he can play as long as he wants. Truthfully, he's that good. And now, obviously, slowly but surely, he's not gonna be averaging 30 points a game. But dude can go out there and just just pass it and not even have to score and still play and still be better than a lot of these guys. So I think he has a little bit of time left. You're averaging 30 a game, dominating. I mean, the Lakers, yeah, we can get into that another day, but every game he's averaging 30 plus. Before he broke the record, he had like 2 or 3 games where he had 40 something points. The argument really isn't even there. I mean, it hasn't been there for a while, honestly. But people are so fixated on Michael Jordan, right? They're so fixated on on what was, but it's really not even there. And I know everybody's talked about it. Everybody's talked about it every day since LeBron was in Miami, right? I mean, who's the GOAT? But it's not even close, bro. When you're number one in all time in points and then fourth all time in assists, and then still averaging 30 points a game, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Not a game.
LeBron? Not a game. Not a game. But Bron is the best. And honestly, I'm not a huge Bron fan. I'm not one of those huge LeBron super big fans, whatever. But facts are facts, man. It's gotten to the point where we can't deny it. We're a little bit in denial when it comes to this conversation because people don't want to let go of the past. They don't want to let go of the good old days, right? Jordan was the man. Don't get me wrong. But LeBron has came in since 18 with a target on his back and performed at the highest level. It's like almost if you get 2K, the basketball game, NBA 2K, and you create a player and you make his stats all the way up from 18 years old to 35, 36. That's the type of career LeBron has had. I mean, there's so many different things you could say.
So I'm going to use your arguments against you because we talked about Mahomes earlier, and his thing was 5 years, 5 AFC championships, 2 rings, 2 MVPs. Well, that's you, and you're talking like if he wins 2 or 3 more, he's going to be the GOAT over Tom with less rings because in the fashion that he did it, right? Because look, hold on, let me go. I let you go. I let you ramble on, right? If Mahomes were to finish that season with 5, let's say 5 rings, at that time, what you're claiming he would be the GOAT, he wouldn't pass Tom in passing yardage. He wouldn't pass Tom in any of the stats that we mentioned earlier, right? So you're contradicting yourself a little bit because Jordan did it in 6 years, 6 in a row, or he had the gap year, right? But he went 3 for 3. And I know what you're going to mention. You're going to talk about his playoff runs, and LeBron has his playoff runs as well too. Look, I think there's a stat, and this is what I talk about with Tom. With the stat, there's a measurement that you can't put a stat on, right? And I saw a video the other day that really kind of brought it home because look, you've known me for a while. Like 2 or 3 years ago, I argued that LeBron was the GOAT. I really did, and you argued that Jordan was the GOAT. And over the years, huh? What'd you say? The Last Dance came out. Look, The Last Dance came out, right? Got some more knowledge about these guys. You kind of learn a little bit more about the player. You get more educated. Look, I think LeBron's one of those guys where he's lived long enough to see himself become the villain, which is part of it as well. I think he has. Now, I do agree that I think in 10 years from now, the argument's going to change. 10 years from now, when LeBron's done and everything's settled and the smoke is settled, it's going to be a much different conversation because now both players are going to be romanticized, which is what you're claiming that Jordan is now. And I agree with you. It definitely is romanticized because all we go off of is what we remember in our head. And sure, we can go watch clips on YouTube and things like that, but we don't have the emotions that we do when we will watch. We can remember the emotion we had when we watched LeBron come back 3-1 against Golden State. We can remember the emotion when he won in Miami, right? We can remember when first time he won in Cleveland. You and I can remember that. We don't know what it felt like when Jordan dominated in the 90s. We will never know. We will never be able to have that conversation. What I'm stating is the same thing that Tom brings to a football team. The video that I'm referring to a minute ago was when they go, hey, what's one word to describe LeBron? They said clown, funny, kid, or child. It was child. Excuse me. The word was childish. And not in a negative way. Not in a negative way. In the sense of like he kind of jokes around, he hangs out, he plays, whatever, which is good. I'm not hating on that. I'm sure I would get the same style.
A lot of people said GOAT too. It wasn't just child.
Yes.
A lot of people said.
Yes, the younger players said GOAT. Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
And GOAT. Like the assistant
that's because
coaches.
they don't want to get traded. They're scared to get traded by LeBron. But with Jordan, his word that described him was probably asshole, dick, whatever. He was an absolute killer, and that's the same thing, in my opinion, that Tom brings to the table. It's something no stat measures that. When those guys walk into a room, everyone has hairs on the back of their neck and wants to be better. I think early on in LeBron's career, he did that. I feel like, again, it's almost like he's played too long, and now it's like he's not taken seriously. And look, a lot of it has to do with social media and marketing. I think MJ walked into and I've told you this. This is the argument that I always used to make, that MJ walked into a time where the NBA was transitioning from Converse to what it is today, where how marketing changed the game. I make the same argument for Tiger Woods, huh?
Huge part of MJ's popularity too, by the way.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree, because a super chat was from Cody. He says, I don't buy bronze, I buy Jordans. And look, that isn't. I don't put that solely on Michael Jordan. I put that on branding. I put that on Nike more than I put that on Jordan. I really do. I don't think people understand the marketing impact that Nike had. And again, it's that emotion that we never felt in the 90s, right? The commercials that they created for Jordan and created they created this magical thing. We didn't have social media. The commercials were social media. So they controlled the narrative. We didn't see the ugly with Jordan. Jordan also didn't get involved with politics like LeBron has, which has tarnished his name to for some people's opinion, because he's gotten involved. No, that's fact. People they don't like the fact that he's got involved. I don't really care either way. Like, to each his own.
But again, I mean, there's so many different elements to what you're saying that really it doesn't have too much of an effect on the actual what happens on the court. I'm just being honest with you. LeBron is more efficient in 2s and 3s throughout his career. He's 5th all time in points per game. He's damn near averaging a triple-double for his whole career. And yeah, that'd be impressive for a 10-year career. But going from high school to where he is now, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable, right? MJ was great, right? MJ was great. There's no doubt about it. Like you said, hey, we weren't around. Right? We're both 90s babies, but we were babies. We weren't watching MJ. So, but the fact that LeBron has carried his teams the way he has, yeah, sure, he's lost. But so did Tom Brady. Tom Brady lost in the Super Bowl, right? LeBron has lost multiple times in the finals. But every year that he's lost, they've almost made the argument to where he could be MVP even on the losing team, because he's leading his team in every single category. He's a way better rebounder and passer than MJ. MJ has Scottie Pippen, right? I know people are like, Scottie Pippen was good. LeBron had Kyrie and D-Wade. Dude, Scottie Pippen was top 50 player all time. Scottie Pippen was a stud. People don't remember that, though. And also, you know what Scottie Pippen did? He locked people down. When they played the Lakers in 91, right? See, The Last Dance convinced you, but it also convinced me that LeBron was even more when I watched it. Because every time they talk about what happened in the playoffs, if they lost or not, a lot. Jordan better than Space Jam. That's it. Thank you. That's it. That you're right. Space Jam 2 is dog shit. But they played them. They played the Lakers, right? And they won against Magic and all of them in '91. And who guarded Magic Johnson? Who guarded Magic Johnson for them to come back and win that series? Scottie Pippen. It wasn't MJ. MJ didn't step up to the plate and do that. MJ's great, but an overall best player of all time is not even a question. It's LeBron. And the fact that we're so hesitant to give him that crown because of social media, because we see what he's like. We do see he's not an asshole. He's not the big alpha male like everybody wants to see. That doesn't change the fact that he's 6'8", 260 and run your ass over and dunk on you. Like, dude is the best athlete of all time. All day is LeBron. Dude is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jordan was great, but let me ask you, when Jordan came back from, to play for the Wizards, how old was he? Right? How old was he?
I don't remember. He wasn't that old, though. Not as old as he looked.
Right. Yeah, them cigars. But in '98, when he won with the Bulls and got a 6 championship, he was like 31, I think. Right? I mean, he was considered old at that point. Right? He was kind of at the end of his. I mean, sure, he could have kept playing, but LeBron's way past that, and averaging 30 a game. And then also, let me bring up another thing. For you people that don't really watch basketball, the rules have changed. Rules changed. The fouling, right? It's not as hard. The flopping, the flop, and all that shit. I get it. But a lot of other things have changed too. Back in the 80s and 90s, if you were on an isolation on the wing, they couldn't come send a double team. They couldn't. So you had no choice but to go one-on-one. You imagine LeBron doing that back in the 80s and 90s? being able to go ISO just one-on-one with the player, he'd average 40 a game. No doubt about it. And get a triple-double. Now they send double teams. It's totally different. Every time you watch LeBron, he's driving, they send 3 people to him, and he dishes it out to a three-point shooter. He's been having to do that his whole career, right? The dude is unstoppable, and we don't give him his flowers. We don't give him his flowers because it's chasing a mystery. We don't know too much about MJ.
Chasing the ghost.
Even the people, even the guy that says I buy Jordans. We don't know too much about MJ. We know what people tell us. We know what people that were there talked about. The Last Dance showed me a lot, and I'm just saying he was great. He's unbelievable. It's MJ, but LeBron is better. LeBron is better, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
think so. The chats are pretty 50-50 here. It's honestly it's fun to see the chat. They got your back a little bit here. I don't know if they agree with your.
It's a valid argument.
You got some old heads in here that obviously think differently.
Of course, they're used to seeing.
And look, I think it's an eye test. And I always ask you, what do we use to define the GOAT? Right? Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady. Unbelievable, sports geek. I mean, God, this is unbelievable.
See, I didn't say that, but appreciate it.
I always say, like, what we talk about this whole GOAT thing, and what do we want to represent as a GOAT, right? Like, what is it?
Off the court, because he beats Jordan in both, on the court and off the court. Dude has done so much for so many different things. The school, he's still married to his wife, no scandals. He's literally like living, like I said, a created player's life on 2K. He's got his sons, successful, looking just like him on the court, at least the young one does. But Bronny's going to get there one day. You know what I mean? He's going to play with him. The things you're doing aren't even comparable to what MJ did. If you remember, all right, on The Last Dance, I think when they beat Utah or whatever, they couldn't stop Karl Malone. Karl Malone was like going crazy. Like they couldn't stop him. He was a bad matchup. That's what they said. Karl Malone and them, they were a bad matchup. How big is Karl Malone? The same size as LeBron James. But LeBron James can run faster, jump higher, better shooter. Like you name it, he's better. Come on, man. Come on. Put LeBron on any team in any different decade or era, and he's going to be the best player on the court. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So, look, this is interesting because Sport Geek says Patrick Mahomes is clearly the most talented player ever F rings. And again, that's where I've always asked you because we say rings matter, they don't matter. It just depends on if it solidifies our argument or not is when we want to utilize that. Because right now, I mean, look, I said Mahomes needs to pass Tom in rings to get there. I think LeBron has to do the same thing. You can't go 4-6 in the finals.
Not even close.
Look, you lose 6 times. There's a weakness there.
You make it 10 times and you only make it 6 times. Listen, here's one thing that people forget, right? When he came back from playing baseball and did the old I'm back thing, there's another thing I learned from the last one where made me go, ooh, that's.
Did you rewatch it?
No, I just remember it because it was stuck in the head. But he came back and the argument is, well, he didn't have a whole year. He wasn't in shape. Okay, well, don't get your ass on the court then if you ain't in shape. Then he had a couple games where he did okay. He had his shorts on backwards. Imagine LeBron did that, had his shorts on backwards after missing 2 years and coming back. They'd be roasting him, bro. Roasting him on social media. But it's MJ. It's cool. Get a cigar. He's cool. It's
Look,
MJ.
I think so that you're kind of getting a little.
Hold on. Let me finish. I'm getting to my point. Listen, he dropped 55 in Madison Square Garden when he came back, right? So there was no argument there to where like, oh, he was out of shape. He wasn't on his game. Dude dropped 55. Then they played Orlando in the playoffs with Penny and Shaq. What happened? Dude on Orlando, Indian relevant, I don't remember his name, said 45 isn't 23. Remember because he changed his number?
Yeah.
Dude was like 28 at this point. 27, something like that. Like MJ was kind of young. He wasn't over the hill. That alone was like, I mean, this is great. This is the GOAT. This is the GOAT. Then he came back the next year and broke the record and all that. I get that. But come on, man. LeBron every single year has made it to the finals. A lot of times by himself, carrying freaking J.R. Smith. He's talented, but Can't expect too much from JR. I mean, come on now.
He had Kyrie and Kevin Love.
Bro, Kevin Love and Kyrie were hurt like almost every year. The only year
now,
that they
look. So I think dude. Obviously LeBron, and this is where the conversation like who is number one. It's hard to overlook being perfect when it mattered most. When look what do we all live for, right? When we're a kid, it's can we be? We're counting down 5, 6, or 6, 5, 4, 3. We hit the shot, we win.
LeBron has more of those than MJ, but go ahead.
Game winners, buzzer beaters,
More efficient, yeah, 100%.
Buzzer beater when it mattered.
And does Taco Tuesday, so he's not as cool. He's not as mean as MJ. He didn't punch Steve Kerr in the face, so he's not an alpha. Yeah, exactly. See, that's my thing. That's right there.
Look, I don't think that mattered. Look, I would like for LeBron to talk a little bit more shit. And look, I agree with you. That alpha image. This is like watching grandma die if terminal cancer, if she had terminal cancer. I would rather have 6 rings than 4. And again, that's what I'm saying. I think LeBron needs a few more rings for the conversation to elaborate some more. It's hard. Huh?
What about any other stat? What other stat besides 6 rings? And by the way,
because bro, we don't clock in for triple doubles.
So okay. So would it be better if LeBron didn't make it 10 times? What we're knocking him from bringing a whole team to the finals. What the fuck? I mean, what are we talking about?
I mean, two of those.
Go ahead.
Bringing a team, the only team that I would consider that he brought was that first Cleveland team. Every team after that, he wasn't. The 4 teams in Miami, he wasn't bringing anybody.
Dude, he was when he first went over to the Heat. It was like, oh, it was the first time we ever saw it, right? We were all pumped. It was crazy. We were wondering who's going to take the last shot. I remember everybody was arguing. Who's going to take the last shot, him or Wade? And everybody's, oh, Wade, because, Wade's he's that type of player, his last shot type guy. Then they got on the same court together. It wasn't even close. Not knocking Wade, because I love Wade, but he'll even tell you, LeBron was far better. He was the guy. He was it. It is what it is. I mean, the MJ thing, the 6-0 is like, come on, man. That's not even that's not even a real argument.
I think what you're misunderstanding with the Dwayne and LeBron situation is Dwayne understood that we both can't exist as alphas, and Dwayne was more mature enough at that time to take the back seat. This is why I believe Kyrie and LeBron and Kevin struggled, because Kyrie wanted to be the alpha, and LeBron's like, no, I'm him. And they couldn't get it figured.
No, it was just he was better. He's better than Kyrie's great, but he's not better than LeBron James. It's not. Kyrie's kind of a head case too. Come on now.
Oh, he's a little wild. Look, I think that we could go all day on this. I think we'll let the chat duke it out. I think it was a good first episode. Way to dip our toe in. The people. Look, here's what we were anticipating on happening and hoping to happen. Everyone gets riled up and gets fired up. That's what these arguments do. You're gonna get pissed. I'm getting called an idiot. You're getting called an idiot. That's what makes this fun, because everyone feels their opinion's right. And I think, look, we don't have much of these conversations on Wednesday. We're more kind of just talking about what's happening. So I wanted to change the speed a little bit. I think these conversations are healthy. It's fun. You learn a lot. It's funny to think everyone's like, why are we talking about basketball? But then the comments are exploding about what they think is right, not right, wrong, right. It's fun. I've enjoyed it. Go ahead.
I was just saying that the LeBron Jordan conversation's been talked about a million times. So I get it. I get that. But it's more clear now than ever. So I just wanted to kind of.
You just wanted to solidify it. Yeah, no, for sure. No, it definitely gets talked about. And I think it's an easy conversation to have. So we'll see. Ben Smith says when you're doing your next call-in show, I don't know. I'll do one soon. I'm not sure. We wanted to try this out and get this going. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun arguing with old Sweaty Magoo. Look, mad props for coming in here and arguing the wrong sides on all 3 topics. I appreciate your energy. sometimes you take an L, you go back. Look, you fit perfectly with LeBron. You're gonna lose your first 3. It's fine. It's okay.
Close, bro.
Huh?
But Jordan was so scared after LeBron won that they came back from 3-1. He dropped that documentary that he was hesitant to drop. You know why? Because he's punching people in the freaking face. Like, dude is out there shooting free throws and punching his backup point guards in the face. Dude, it's not even close, bro. It's not even close. Just saying.
He probably deserved it.
See, that's the thing.
I don't think. But look, him punching in the face, not punching in the face, doesn't have anything to do with GOAT argument. Like, I don't. What are we doing here?
Dude, what are you talking about? What I mean, and Steve Kerr's like, oh yeah, that made me tougher. Like, I bet. You got punched in the face. You got black eye by him, Jay.
Steve Kerr went on to win some more natties in Golden State, so I think I credit that to Jordan making him tough.
And when they ask him, who do they say who's better? What does he say?
He just says that because he's in the league now.
Oh,
look, we'll see. We'll see what happens when LeBron has to go and buy a team. And we'll see like how he manages that team. I think that's going to be this the final factor. But
factor. Who's a better GM?
Yeah. All right, boys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure you guys will listen. The comments, I'm sure after the show are going to be a good one as well. But you guys were a blast as usual. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys subscribe, like it, show some love. Shout out to Austin for coming out here and hanging on with us on our new segment. Let me finish. Think it was fun. I enjoyed it. Austin, see you in the next one, Bubba.
See you, bro.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt.